Imagine this. You're asleep. Everything is quiet. Then suddenly you wake up to a sharp, throbbing pain in your tooth. The kind of pain that doesn't stop. Painkillers barely touch it. You can't eat. You can't focus. You can't even think. The next morning, the dentist says something strange. The decay reached the nerve. We'll need to remove it. Remove the nerve? If the nerve is important, why take it out? And if it's removed, how does the tooth survive afterward? Let's break it down. What is inside a tooth? Every tooth is built in layers. The outer white layer is called enamel. It's the hardest substance in the human body, even harder than bone. Under the enamel is dentin, which is slightly softer and more flexible. Dentin absorbs pressure when you bite or chew. At the center of the tooth is the most important part, the pulp, commonly called the nerve. But here's something most people don't realize. The nerve's main job is not to cause pain. Its real role is to build the tooth during development, to supply it with blood, to keep it nourished and hydrated. Inside the pulp are tiny blood vessels, immune cells, and nerve fibers. During childhood, the pulp actually helps form the tooth from the inside out. Without it, the tooth wouldn't even exist in the first place. So why remove something so important? The answer starts with tooth decay. When bacteria feed on sugar in your mouth, they produce acids. Those acids slowly dissolve enamel, creating small cavities. At first, there's no pain, because enamel has no nerves. But once decay reaches dentin, you start feeling sensitivity. Cold drinks hurt. Hot food hurts. The pain fades after a moment. At this stage, the damage is still reversible. A simple filling can fix it. The real problem begins when decay reaches the pulp. Why does it hurt so much? When bacteria invade the pulp, your immune system reacts. In most parts of the body, inflammation causes swelling, and that swelling helps healing. But the pulp is trapped inside a rigid shell of enamel and dentin. There's no room to expand. So when inflammation begins, pressure builds inside the tooth. Blood flow increases. The nerve gets compressed. That intense pressure causes the unbearable, pulsating pain. Over time, the pressure cuts off blood supply. The pulp tissue begins to die. If untreated, bacteria can exit the root tip and infect the surrounding bone, forming an abscess. At this point, there are only two options: remove the tooth or remove the infected pulp. Dentists prefer saving the tooth whenever possible. What happens during a root canal? Despite the dramatic phrase, killing the nerve, the procedure is actually precise and controlled. The dentist, 1. Opens the tooth. 2. Removes the infected pulp tissue. 3. Cleans and shapes the root canals. 4. Disinfects them thoroughly. 5. Fills the space with a rubber-like material to seal it. That material prevents bacteria from returning. Once sealed, the infection is gone, and the pain stops. But is the tooth dead? Yes and no. The tooth loses its internal blood supply. It can no longer feel temperature. But it's still anchored in your jaw by periodontal ligaments, which remain alive. Those ligaments allow you to feel pressure when chewing, so the tooth isn't a lifeless object. It's simply no longer internally nourished. Over time, the tooth becomes slightly drier and more brittle. That's why dentists often place a crown afterward, to protect it from cracking. Think of it like a tree that stopped receiving water from inside, but is still standing strong because it's supported from the outside.